Now imagine a world where every single thing you do can determine the kind of life that you have in a country, which brings me to the social credit system. A social credit system is a framework that is used to provide a holistic assessment of an individual's or company's trustworthiness. And so you'd ask, trustworthiness to who? So remember I told you, in a world run by AI, the entire system only views you as an entity in the system, not as a human being. And so it's, are you trustworthy to the system, or are you a threat to the system? Are you a threat to the social order that the owners of the system are trying to create, or are you a compliant citizen? So for the social credit system, China once again are on the lead in this. And China has received a lot of heat for enforcing such a system in the name of it goes against democratic ideals, etc., etc. But that is all just smoke screen and politics, because now almost all the developed nations are trying to establish this system in some way or form. So I think they were just hating because, well, it's China. So nonetheless, before China got its social credit system, it first began with a system to gauge financial credit worthiness. Before now, it moved to law enforcement and moral police. Again, Kenya, does that ring a bell? We already have the Credit Reference Bureau to gauge financial credit worthiness, and then that information is shared across institutions about whether you're a trusted person to lend money to. Even the government is privy to that information. And so China began just the same way. And the goal of China's social credit system is to assess financial credit worthiness, to enforce the law and judicial decisions, and to determine if you can be trusted in commercial activities, and to also determine social trustworthiness or moral policing, and to ensure government integrity, because they say that even politicians and public officers are going to be subject to the same rules, and so it's going to reduce corruption. And once that data is collected, it can be shared across organizations, and people are scored based on their compliance or non-compliance in the system. And so everything that you do as a citizen in a country where this system applies can be scored. That is what is called the social credit score. Literally kupata marks ama kupewa marks based on how you're living in a country. Then based on your score, you're either punished, warned, or rewarded by the system. For example, the surveillance cameras notice that as a driver, you have a habit of always passing when passing the traffic lights, even when the lights have turned red. So each time you do it, your score reduces. And the system also now gives you a warning. So when you refuse to heed to the warning, your license is suspended. And if you're a repeat offender, even after the suspension is lifted, you can end up losing your license entirely, and you end up going to jail. Another example is like the people who got the shot during the pandemic. Those guys could move around, they could travel, they could be employed. That is a reward for compliance. The people who stood their ground and refused to get a shot couldn't travel, and for some people, their jobs were threatened. They were shamed for refusing to accept the shot. So that is an example of sanctioning and penalizing for non-compliance. So another example is Trump's administration proposed that tourists submit their social media accounts so that the government can go through up to 5 years of social media history to determine if you can get a visa into the US, just in case you said something nasty about Trump or the US. So those are just things that form part of a social credit system. So I believe that the back end of this system will also classify individuals based on their wealth or their social status. Like grade A citizens will be super billionaires with a lot of property, then maybe a lower grade A, which is maybe a lower category of billionaires, then maybe grade B is multimillionaires, like that. So because, I mean, there's no way me and the president of the United Arab Emirates can be ranked or treated the same way in this system. Or me and this Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is the founder of Palantir, the company that's providing this AI-powered monitoring and surveillance system to the government. There is absolutely no way he would build a weapon of mass destruction like this to be an equalizer that me and someone like him can be the same. There's absolutely no way. And so you can read more about this system, and mine is to ask the questions as usual. So for instance, is there a way that this system can be used for good? Absolutely, yes, it is possible to make this system work for the good of society. Like it can make it easy to capture the identity of phone snatchers, traffic offenders, to solve crime, to know whether it's a good idea to lend to someone, who not to lend to, who not to do business with, or who to do business with, and to catch criminals even when they run to other countries. But that is utopia. If the world was actually ruled by good intentions, the world would not be where we are right now. And so the other side to this system is that even though it has the capacity to be used for good, it will absolutely not be used for good. Why? Number one, like I said, because the values of a business follows after its founder. And who are the founders of these businesses? We know that they are drug addicts, they are sadists, narcissists, pedophiles, and people with very weird fetishes, and they hate humanity, and the list goes on. See, they're all in that Epstein list. So that's enough for you not to trust them to build anything which could govern humans. Then number two, this system will produce false claims and accusations that are based on imagination and twisted perspectives. Why? Please remember, we live in a world where good is called evil and evil is called good. And so the moral policing, but moral according to who? It's going to be a system where nearly everything will be redefined to accommodate every evil thing possible. Because the founders are evil and they are not working alone. I repeat, these are people working with fallen angels, not small demons, fallen angels. So in the world we live in, both the good and the wicked can enjoy human freedoms to a large extent. But in this coming system, your rights and your freedoms will be completely choked. And the people who actually do what is right in the eyes of the Lord are the ones who are going to suffer the most in this system. Believers, hear me and hear me well. When this system is advanced to its fullest, it is going to be almost impossible to preach the gospel publicly. Laws will be changed to make your faith a crime. And yeah, Satan is not all powerful, and he's not all knowing, and he's not everywhere at the same time. But this system is going to grant him that power. And so please be informed that this is a completely merciless and brutal system.
It's called the social credit system. A person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And Hao-Yu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
It's a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens, thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition, and a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Ai-Ni are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse.